Welcome to our Bluejay Family Live panel, helping your student through academic concerns. My name is Morgan Freshour. I'm the Assistant Director of the Office of Student and Family Support. Oh no, did my screen just, oh, we're all good. Um, so the Office of Student and Family Support, we are the folks who put on these live panels. We want to let you all know about our Bluejay Family newsletter, which is sent out monthly. We have our Bluejay Family Live panels, which you are currently attending. We also have Bluejay Family social media accounts, so feel free to follow those. If you ever have any questions or concerns or just need to contact someone from our office, you can email family@creighton.edu. And then we also have our Bluejay Family portal, which is where you can find a recording of tonight's Bluejay Family Live. Within a week, we will get that up. Tonight's Bluejay Family Live panel will be about an hour, and then we will post that on the portal for you all to review or send to anyone else you may think needs to watch it. And then lastly, we have the Success Desk that is located in the Success Center, which is where our office, the Office of Student and Family Support, is also located. We always say, if you don't know what to do, call 1212, and that takes you right to our Success Desk. Again, you can email us at family@creighton.edu with any questions or concerns, or give us a phone call at that number. Next, we'd like to give a quick thank you to our Golden Go Jades Bluejay family sponsors, Cobalt Credit Union and Kookaburra Cookies. They've been sponsoring us this year, and they're both great folks, great companies, and we just want to give them a shout out here. Next, I just want to give an overview for tonight's Bluejay Family Live panel. We'll talk about some scholarships and financial aid, advising support, academic support, student accessibility services, and we'll give you all an opportunity to ask questions through our Q&A feature, which you can find, I believe, at the bottom of your screen. You can see the Q&A function, and that is where you can go ahead and ask questions that you may have. Any of our panelists tonight will be able to answer those questions either in the chat back to you or at the very end in our Q&A time. So I'll go ahead and give you all an overview of what we're talking about tonight. So when students commit to Creighton, Creighton commits to them. We are retaining, graduating, and having successful outcomes at a high, oh, excuse me. Oh, that is not what I meant to do. Technical difficulties, my apologies. So going back to the purpose of tonight's Bluejay Family Live panel, we are retaining, graduating, and having successful outcomes at a higher rate than at any point in Creighton's history. And a large part of the success is due to the resources and support that Creighton is able to provide. If a student is struggling, there is support, so take advantage of it. Failure to make satisfactory academic progress can lead to loss of scholarship and financial aid. So the purpose of, helping your student through academic concerns, this Bluejay Family Live panel, is to see how not only can you support them, but how we as Creighton can support them as well. So tonight we'll have panelists from various different campus partners be presenting. I'm going to introduce them to you all currently right now. So first we'll have Janet Solberg, the Director of Financial Aid, speak. Then we will have Lisa Brockhoff, Assistant Dean of College and Arts and Sciences, Sharice Williams, Senior Assistant Dean of the Hyder College of Business, Dr. Geraldine Cam, the Assistant Dean of the College of Nursing, Tanya Plater, the Associate Director of Academic Success, as well as Ann Hyman, the Director of Student Accessibility Services. So first, I am going ahead and turn it over to Janet from Financial Aid.
Hello, everyone. My name is Janet Solberg, and I am the Director of Financial Aid here at Creighton University. And I'm going to talk to you tonight about satisfactory academic progress and what that means for your students from both Title IV financial aid as well as their institutional scholarships. So first off, if we want to move to the next slide, what I'm going to do is I'm going to talk about what satisfactory academic progress is. You'll also hear it called SAP. So satisfactory academic progress is a policy that we have for all students that attend Creighton and that receive any type of Title IV funding So those are going to be your Pell Grants, your direct loans, subsidized, unsubsidized loan, as well as any Parent Plus loans. And it's also going to include any type of institutional merit scholarships that the student receives as well. So what we do is we follow the guidelines of the Department of Education when it comes to satisfactory academic progress. So we review SAP once a year. So let's take a step back. Your student just completed their first semester, maybe their first semester of college, or they're in between their whatever year they're in. They have their cumulative GPA. So think about what that might be right now. The thing to remember is that the student still has another semester, another term to complete in spring before we review the satisfactory academic progress. So there is still time if the student would be not meeting SAP right now to get their grades up so that they can retain any of their financial aid and scholarships. So again, we review that at the end of the spring semester. There's a couple different points of satisfactory academic progress that we review. The first one is the qualitative measure. This is where we look at the student's GPA. So undergraduate students, if you're a freshman, you must maintain a 1.75 cumulative GPA, and all other undergraduates, sophomore, juniors, and seniors, must have a 2.0 cumulative GPA. Now, there are some scholarships that require different GPAs, and those would have been shared with your student at the time that they received those. The next thing that we look at for satisfactory academic progress is called PACE. This is the quantitative measure. This is where students must complete 75% of all courses attempted. So we calculate this by dividing the total credits completed by total credits attempted. What we take into account as completed courses is anything D- and above. So D-, D, C, B, A. If a student receives an F or a W, that is not considered a completed course. We also do not include transfer credits in our calculation. The third thing that we look at is another quantitative measure. It's called duration. This is where federal guidelines limit financial aid eligibility to 150% of the semester hours of the intended degree program. So that means that a student can only attend about 150% of whatever their major is to graduate. We do take into account transfer hours, and then part-time and hours taken while you are not receiving aid are also included in the calculation of duration of eligibility. All right, so what happens next if you do not meet satisfactory academic progress? Again, at the end of the spring term. And again, we look at that cumulative GPA when looking at the qualitative. So if a student fails SAP, we will email them. It's usually around the beginning of the summertime. So we highly encourage you, it's either the end of May, first part of June. We highly encourage students to continue to monitor their Creighton email address, because that is where we will email them. And at that point, we would let them know that they were not meeting the satisfactory academic progress. However, they have the opportunity to appeal. So what happens during that appeal process? So if we move to the next slide, we'll show you what happens. There's a two parts to the appeal process. The first part is the student needs to complete an appeal letter. Basically, they need to explain to our satisfactory academic progress committee, which lies within the financial aid office, what led to them not meeting SAP and how they will be successful moving forward. So they can include any type of additional documentation that they may need to support their letter and their case. They submit that appeal letter directly to the financial aid office. The second part of the process is that the student needs to meet with their academic advisor to discuss and create an academic plan for the next term. That academic plan is approved by the colleges, and the college will send their approval to me in the financial aid office. And from there, we review both parts of those together. So we can't move forward until we have both part one and part two. So the appeal letter and the approved academic plan. After that, the committee reviews that, and then a decision letter, and we would then re-award funds if the student is eligible. We highly, highly encourage students to go through this process because of the fact that we want to work with the students and the families to make sure that the students are successfully, both academically and financially. We know that school can be hard. We try to give them students chances, but if a student continues to fail or not meeting SAP on a continuous basis, that is where a student's jeopardy of losing Title IV funding as well as institutional scholarships come into play. One other thing to note, just to say that the financial aid satisfactory academic progress, that process runs parallel to any academic probation or process on their side. So it is important that a student, if they are asked to do both, that they complete both because they are two separate processes, and I believe the colleges may talk about those as well. Thank you, Morgan.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Janet. We will move on over to our next panelist, Sharice Williams, the Senior Assistant Dean for the Hyder College of Business. Sharice, take it away.
Thank you, Morgan. Thanks, Janet. That was great. I like the refresher myself. So I'm going to talk about registration and registering for classes in spring. I'm going to talk a little bit about fall, sort of like Janet did, to bring you into the spring, what to expect, etc. So we're talking some about the fall semester, your grades from fall. I think most colleges have completed what we call academic actions, meaning that our committees to review academic standing and policies have met, and most students have been advised of any academic actions. So if you earned any grades of F in the fall semester, you'll have to repeat that course. A grade of F is not a passing grade. Students may choose to retake a grade of C minus or lower, but sometimes those C minuses, you got to keep on trucking with them. If you got a C minus in calc or chemistry, wear it with pride and keep on going. But for instance, if you failed a Magis core course, the easiest way to get back in good academic standing is to retake those courses. And there is a repeat class policy in the catalog, and retaking the new grade in spring, we like to say we'll let you time travel back in fall, and the new grade in spring will replace the fall grade. So it's sort of like a time travel. Look, I had a redo, went back, did this in the fall semester, and here's where I'm landing in spring. To find out more guidance about that, we want you to reach out to your advisor. This is my slide, and I say, or your friend's advisor. Sometimes I have students bring another student in. Sometimes I'll have an arts and science student come with a business student and say, my friend is a business student or nursing student, and they said to come talk to you. We just want you to reach out to any adult, and we'll make sure we connect you to the right person you can talk to. The dean's office is a resource, although your academic advisor is your first go-to, if you will. People in the dean's office like me and Dean Brockhoff and Assistant Dean Cam, we are there to help advise you, and we advise the advisors. So your dean's office is a good resource for support in academic advising. And also, I think it's important to get to know the people at the front desk, because oftentimes those are the folks who can help you figure things out even before you get to someone like me, or perhaps they can offer a tissue or an encouraging word, and maybe even just a smile to help your day out. It's important to know deadlines. Each academic calendar, there are deadlines every semester that students should be made aware of. We're doing some website updates at our Creighton site. So there's a few new links for you to get familiar with. The drop, add, or make changes date for spring is, I don't think those dates are correct. Sorry about that. It's actually January 21st, Morgan. Maybe we can make a date of that. I'm sorry. I thought I updated those dates here. To be clear, the spring date for dropping classes is January 21st, which is Tuesday, January 21st. That's the first full week in the semester. Fun fact, Creighton usually starts on a Tuesday or a Wednesday. Every semester for that first week, the first 5 days of the semester is the free drop add period, no changes. You can go to one class and say, oh, that's not going to work with my schedule because I got a work study job. I need to change into a different class. You can do that and make changes through Tuesday, January 21st. Same thing with the drop without a W is through Tuesday, January 21st. And the last day to withdraw and earn a W is, gosh, I don't know. I'll have to look that up. I'm sorry. This is embarrassing, guys. But it's usually sometime in spring. Maybe we can get on by the time the chat comes around. I'll get on and maybe we'll put the updated information in. By the time we get done, you'll have those correct dates. Registration for summer does begin the same time as fall registration. So coming up here in the fall, we will have, coming up here in the spring, we'll be registering for summer and fall on the same date. That will be early April, usually end of March, always after spring break. Registration will begin early April and will go through mid-April, but it goes beyond that. So for instance, even though registration was back in October and November, students are still able to make changes to the spring semester now. One thing that I'll add here that didn't get on my updates is we have a new Nest. That's our new registration platform. It is still the old Nest, but with a facelift. I encourage your students and maybe even any parents out there to get online and look at the new Nest and just sort of familiarize yourself with what that looks like. Once your class is scheduled and your schedule is settled, we encourage you to get a bird's eye view for all of your assignments and exams so that you can see when certain exams are, when midterms are, make any changes you might need to take. And also that last slide down there says, ask your decurion or sophomore leader, because our students just finished our RSP. Arts and science students are still in RSP and have easy access to those student leaders who are sophomores or maybe upperclassmen, junior or seniors, who can help you navigate registration and connect you to who you need to talk to. Thanks, Morgan.
Thank you, Sharice. We will now move on to the College of Arts and Sciences with Lisa Brockhoff, the Assistant Dean of the College of Arts and Sciences. Take it away, Lisa. You may be still muted.
Good evening, everyone. Thanks for joining us tonight. So the information I have for you, it's really no different than what Assistant Dean Sharice Williams talked about. So just to kind of reiterate that, the best way students can boost their GPA is by retaking some of those classes. So if they did fail a course this semester, we encourage them to retake that class, or if they have a C-, they may want to consider retaking, but sometimes, as Sharice said, it's just better to keep going and work harder next semester and do well in the classes that are ahead. Also, please have students reach out to their advisor or to the dean's office if they're struggling in their classes or have any questions. And then also, as Sheree said, it's also important to know those deadlines as far as the drop and add, the withdrawal deadline, and things like that. So this is true. That's good advice for whether you're arts and sciences, business, or the College of Nursing. One thing that's unique to the College of Arts and Sciences is that a lot of students may be changing their mind after their first semester or second semester, whatever it might be. And that's not unusual. A lot of students come to Creighton with an idea of what they want to major in, but once they get into the classes, they either don't like them or they maybe aren't doing as well, and they may need to switch to another area and look at other options. So it's not unusual. And I always tell students that it's okay to break up with your major. Look at other options. In the College of Arts and Sciences, there's over 60 different majors, because just as their initial major or what they thought they want to major in isn't working for them, there's no reason for them to stress about that. I encourage them again to look up majors in the catalog and then talk to their advisor or to the dean's office. And as for parents, if your student wants to change majors, please support them in that. Our outcomes, the rate at which students receive jobs after they graduate is extremely high. It's as high as the other colleges. So I always want students to know that. Oftentimes we'll hear students say, oh, but if I major in sociology or history, there's no jobs, or I'll never get a job. And that just isn't true. So we will help them with that process. Also, the Career Center helps with that as well. So there's lots of different options. And I think when those students are in that transition period, it's just important to be supportive. And it's okay for those students to be undecided for a while as well. Thank you, Morgan.
Thank you, Lisa. We will now move on over to Dr. Geraldine Cam, the Assistant Dean for the College of Nursing.
Thanks, Morgan. It's nice to be here tonight, and I have a couple things that I just wanted to touch upon, and I agree with everything that my colleagues have already said about the importance of deadlines and, repeating classes, things like that too, to help boost those GPAs. So in the College of Nursing, we're a little unique compared to arts and sciences and business, because we have two majors, either nursing or paramedicine. So it's really important, and our students get to know their advisors, just like in the other colleges, very well. And so with the rigor of our programs and the way that our courses build upon each other, I can't stress the importance of building relationships, not only with your advisor, but the faculty members. And we do have our own academic success staff in the College of Nursing for some of our key nursing classes. And in addition, our students take advantage of the resources that you've been hearing about tonight with the Success Center. So a couple key things that I just wanted to say: it's important to ask for help early on. We do midterm grade reports, and that's really important for students too. So if they've been struggling, please encourage them not only to reach out to their advisors and faculty, but to utilize those office hours, which are published on our faculty members' syllabi. And that's a good way to know how to contact them as well. In addition to the dean's office staff, we're available for those appointments as our advisors. Our majors follow a very set plan of study. So I always encourage our students to make sure their family has a copy of that plan of study as well. So as they're referencing that the family member can look at that. So And that's a good roadmap and blueprint for those majors for the students. Good to have a calendar as we head into the new year, and that helps tremendously with time management and due dates. So I just want to re-emphasize that about knowing the deadlines, not only for registration, drop at, but even due dates for assignments and exams, and getting those on the calendar as we start the semester and get those new syllabi, because that really helps not only with the time management piece, but just setting up students for success. And then again, just to close with what's already been shared, we're all here, we're human. We know students have questions and run into challenges. So, stay in contact with your advisor and don't be afraid to reach out, as Sharice said, to any adult in the dean's office. And if I have any families in nursing, I am available, and reachable for specific questions or conversations. So thanks all.
Thank you, Dr. Pam. We will move on over to the Office of Academic Success. We'll have Tanya Plater, the Associate Director of Academic Success, present.
Good evening, everyone. Like Morgan said, I'm Tanya Plater. I'm the Associate Director for the Office of Academic Success, located within the Success Center in the Lower Reinert Library. We have a full staff, as pictured here. Dr. Fedden, who just joined our crew this week. We're extremely excited about that. Myself, Jeremy Graney, Becca Meyer, Richie Mersick, who is actually located within the College of Nursing and meets with us on a regular basis and keeps in touch with us. So we have the open dialogue between our office and College of Nursing. So we help our students across the way. And Melina Russell, who is in our trio of student success. So she's part of our SSS group. And she also attends our office hours, or our office meetings, and contributes on how students are doing who are in SSS, who are first gen, who are Pell eligible, and who are part of her STAR program. Our office offers a wide variety of supports for your students throughout the semester, but also during the end of the semester when they may have gotten failing grades and may have had an action placed against them, whether dismissed or put on academic probation. Our office is in charge of all the tutoring hiring, so one-on-one, drop-in, attach, supplemental instruction, even for nursing. We go through the process and hire all those tutors for your students' needs. We also have academic success coaching. We can connect them to whoever they need on campus, even if they don't know what they need. Sometimes we are able to address that and help them with that. We have targeted programs that happen throughout the semester. And we also have different study supports, such as productivity sessions that were new this semester. And we were surprised that, well, weren't surprised, but we were hopeful that students would take advantage of them, and they did. It is literally just time for students to come and get their stuff done in a quiet space with students who are working on their own stuff in the practice of bottle doubling. I want to focus in a little bit on the academic intervention and academic recovery program. So if a student is placed on academic probation, they are notified by the dean's offices within the colleges, and then we are copied on that email, and we are then placing them into what we call an academic intervention program, whether it be students who need to be placed in an APE seminar. So we do a seminar-based class that meets once a week through the spring semester. If you have a student who is a first-year student, they will be surrounded by other first-year students who have also found themselves in this predicament. If they have not taken one of our academic studies courses, which would happen in the fall semester, they will be placed in an actual class that will help them. If they have taken the strategies course, they will be placed in the seminar with us. So that includes first year students and second, third, and fourth year students, even fifth year students, if they are placed on academic probation, will be put in the academics seminar. The academic recovery program is a program that is built around the idea if a student is dismissed from a program or dismissed from a college, and they filed an appeal, and the colleges have allowed them to appeal and reattend, then those students are placed in an academic recovery program, which gives you more of a hands-on, one-on-one, in-depth process. They work one-on-one with Jeremy Graney, who is our academic recovery program assistant director, and he then makes I would like to call it like a contract with the students, and it involves getting together with the families and keeping everybody on board and on the same page. He would meet with them regularly on a one-on-one basis. Will then be in contact with the dean's offices as well as family members to keep everybody on par in the same status, so that they know where they need to be, when they need to be there, and how they need to get to the finish line. So that is kind of what we do for students who are in that at the end of the semester. We do a midterm outreach in the middle of the semester, but the academic intervention and academic recovery program is where your students would be now. Next slide. We also offer success hubs, which are located in all of the first year halls. We have and a sophomore hall that's kind of a sophomore freshman hall right now. So McGloin is our biggest hub, and it holds up to 15 students. A lot of our attached tutoring will happen in there this semester, as well as productivity sessions and bigger group sessions. If your student, Dr. Cam mentioned that if a student wanted to get a calendar for the semester, we offer a printed out undergraduate calendar that is a semester at a glance calendar, and students can bring those calendars into our success hubs and work with graduate assistants we call them assistant academic coaches, to work through putting their schedule down on one easily viewable page so that they can see big assignments that are coming up, big clusters of tests that are coming up, so then they know, hey, this might be a really bad week for me, so I'm going to study harder or spread it out a little bit differently so that I don't have to cram. And then we sit down with them at the beginning of the semester and go through that. We also have little half-hour section schedules that allow us to sit down with the student as well, no matter what college they're in, and work with them one-on-one to develop their own personalized schedule on what does it look like to fit in all of school, all of their classes, all of their study time, all of their me time, all of their dinners, because one of the things that our students tend to do is forget to eat and forget to sleep because they think they don't need either one of those. So what is it that they are doing or that is important to them to be successful throughout the semester and not just during test times? So Degelman Hall, Swanson Hall, Graves Hall, and McGloin Hall all have those success hubs where we sit with students and do those things. Our tutoring and academic success coaching, we have tutoring for over 70 courses. New this semester, we have attached tutoring for select courses in math as well as bio and chemistry. We found out that students really needed that, and they weren't getting the support that they needed or wanted. And this was our way of increasing our outreach. So they can fill in for one-on-one appointments. Through Blue Point, they can do drop-in tutoring. We offer that Sunday through Thursday from 6 to 9 p.m. They can come to those as many times as they want, as many classes they want. It's completely free. The supplemental instruction is more for the College of Nursing. So a student doesn't only tutor, but they actually develop instruction outside of the classroom to help those students apply the knowledge that they learn in the classroom into real life circumstances. Attached tutoring is when a student or a tutor actually attends the class with the students during their lecture time and then holds individual study sessions for just that class, just that section. So then they can learn a little bit more about what was covered in class and how to study for it. Academic coaching, we have our pro staff that we saw the listed on the previous, like 2 slides back, but we also have assistant academic coaches in graduate assistants. These students have experience in either being students at Creighton or even having the outside experience of life coach experience and things like that that we could bring into the classroom or bring into the seminars and bring into the success hubs to actually help students walk through what they need to do and how they need to be successful. So we help students maximize not only their time, but also like their wellness in it. So we look at it a very holistically approach. We also talk about the important aspects of your wellness wheel to allow you to make sure that you are touching all of your bases and have a well-rounded life here at Creighton. I think that's it.
Thanks, Tanya. We will next move on over to the Office of Student Accessibility Services, known as SAS. We will have Ann Hyman, who is the director, speak on this next section.
Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining this evening. As we were saying, I'm Ann Hyman. I'm the director of SAS, so Student Accessibility Services. So I'll talk a little bit about what that means as we go through our slides. So Student Accessibility Services is accommodations for students with qualified disabilities. So generally these are to provide access, not necessarily success, but we see a lot of students who in high school or, in their undergrads or grad programs pieces want to access their accommodations to kind of level that playing field. So we see a lot of students who, first year students who have had 504 plans or IEP plans or kind of those learning support plans that might be coming from some of those private schools where they would test in different locations or receive special instruction. And we have a lot of students who will come in and request those accommodations right away. Or they'll be like, no, I'm going to try college without any of that support that I had in all my K through 12. And then they've realized that they've gone through that first term and they may want to access support, or they didn't realize that there was support. And so Creighton has our office. So kind of to do that is the students will come in, they'll self-disclose. So it means that they are in charge of requesting that accommodation. Unlike in K through 12, where, parents really drove that process, the students do their registration process. They're providing us with that supporting documentation, and that could be that IEP or 504 plan from high school or medical providing information. And then the students are responsible for notifying their faculty of their accommodations. So that is also a flip that we see from the K through 12 into higher ed is usually they had a case manager or a counselor or someone that would inform the faculty or the teachers. But in college, they are now in charge of that. So just some more information on our next slide is the registration process can seem to be a little daunting, especially if students haven't ever gone through it themselves, but it's pretty easy. And if students have questions, they can reach out, but they are going to be self-disclosing and completing an intake form. Really, it's 5 questions. It's what your diagnosis is, how it's impacting you, what are you requesting, have you had accommodations before, and basically I think the other one is like, how is this going to remove those barriers? So then they meet with one of my staff members, and we usually meet virtually because we have students who are coming in or returning. We also meet with professional students who may not be on campus either. We can also do in person. So it kind of evens out some of that anxious feeling of maybe it's easier to do a virtual meeting, or maybe it's easier to come in person. And that meeting is really a discussion about those 5 questions. And and we look over the documentation to make sure that it's kind of matching what the student is saying, kind of our professional judgment of what an appropriate accommodation is in college. It may look a little different than what they had in high school. So we're kind of having that conversation with them about those supports. The big things to remember about accommodations is they're not retroactive. So if a student comes in and once has taken a test or a semester and they decide that they want to have accommodations now, it's not something that you can go back and have your student retake exams or turn in a bunch of late work and all of those pieces. So students really need to be proactive on kind of doing that self-disclosure or self-registering every semester if they are known to our office. And so then also appropriate accommodations are determined on that disability limiting factor, and they might also differ from that K through 12. So we have all those conversations with the students. We invite parents if they, want to engage in that conversation, but the student is going to have to be that one who really drives the conversation. We are support on campus, but we are also kind of in this weird limbo of a compliance with federal laws coming down. So we do have some strict things that we have to follow, but generally, if students or you have a question, please reach out to us. Our easiest way to get a hold of us is just sas@creighton.edu, and you can reach out with any questions specific to that email, and we'd be happy to help you out.
Thank you, Anne. Now we will go ahead and open it up for questions from the audience. So now you can use that Q&A function and go ahead and ask any questions that you may have. Let's see. One question for you, Anne, regarding accommodations is, do students need to set up accommodations each semester, or if they do it once, will it apply going forward?
Good question. I was just about to type it in, but so if students are already registered with SAS and have set accommodations, each semester they will have to what is called self-register, which is notifying their faculty, and that's through the Clockwork portal. And so students will log in and they will select which classes and which accommodations, and then they'll hit send and it notifies their faculty. So they have to do that each semester. So they can pick and choose. Maybe they want to use it in bio, but they don't want to use it in chem or religion. So they can kind of pick and choose which classes they send those accommodations to, but they don't need to submit the documentation, fill out an intake, or meet with one of us to continue through. So once they've done that initial registration process, they have that until they graduate. It's just that self-registration process each semester.
Thanks, Anne. Let's see. Another question is, how will my student know that they are on academic probation? Janet, could you take that one?
Actually, Morgan,
Oh.
they will be notified by their dean's office. They will receive an email if they're on academic probation.
Awesome, thank you.
So yeah, students should be checking their email over winter break.
And I'll say different colleges have different requirements about probation and what that looks like. For instance, the College of Nursing has different rules than Arts and Sciences and Business. And all of that actually can be found in the university catalog under academic policies and procedures. And you're looking specifically for academic standing.
Another question that just came through is, what happens if the student has passing grades in non-major classes, but not in their major classes, but their overall GPA is around a 2.0?
Students typically in the College of Arts and Sciences need a 2.0 GPA in their major to graduate as well. So they need an overall GPA of 2.0, but also in their major as well. So that would be something that they would want to be talking to their academic advisor in their department about if they're below that 2.0 and they've applied for their major.
So to be clear also, and specifically speaking about business students, that means that you could earn a grade of D like David in a major class, but still have a major GPA above 2.0, and that's okay. But like Assistant Dean Brockhoff says, you really need to be familiar with your own school and your own school rules just to be on the safe side.
Tanya, I have a question for you. How can a parent best support their student after a difficult semester?
Don't get into the blame game. The student does need to take appropriate actions, but they have to have it has to be their choice. If a student doesn't want to participate in what we want to do for them, send them to me or someone else in the Office of Academic Success, and we sit down and do what is called guided academic coaching. And so we really ask them what they want to do and how they want to get there. And then we give suggestions, but we really have them come to their own conclusions. And that is basically, what do you think is going to help you the best? Not what I think is going to help you the best, but what is going to help you the best by your experiences. And if you can get there, we will support you and help you through it.
Thank you.
I would also add, students need to take advantage of faculty office hours. Oftentimes, I will see students not do well on a test, like their very first test or paper. And if that happens, they should be going in and talking to their professor right away. But what I see students do is think, well, I'll just wait and see how the next test goes. And then oftentimes they don't do well again, and they just keep waiting. And they need to be proactive. So as soon as they are unsuccessful in something, or they got a lower grade than they anticipated, a lot of students will say, you know, I studied for 4 days for this test and I still got a D. They should be going in and talking to that professor. So they're not going to get different results until they take that action. So they have to utilize their resources. They have to utilize their professors in the class. That's why they're going to Creighton. That's why they're at a smaller school.
Thank you. And I have another question for you. When should my student request accommodations? Is there a good time or an ideal time for a student to request accommodations through SAS?
Yeah, so students can request it anytime. So we take appointments year round. The only kind of caveat to that is they're not retroactive. So we always say the best time for a student to request those accommodations or to set up a meeting with us is at the beginning of a term, or during the summer, even if, you know, they are transitioning in or they've gone through a year, all of those types of things. So any kind of proactive piece that the student can take is the best. So these first couple weeks before a major exam, especially if they're going to want accommodations for an exam, is to kind of get in before, at least a week before their first exam, because it does take some time to implement those accommodations and to meet and get all the paperwork and pieces through, because the process can take anywhere from 2 days to about 7 days to get through everything, depending on kind of the situation and what's being requested, and if documentation is already presented and all of those things. So the earlier the better, but there is no deadline on requesting.
Thank you. If anyone else has any additional questions, please feel free to email family@creighton.edu or call our Success Desk in the Success Center at 402-280-1212. We are happy to connect you to any of these wonderful panelists and their resources, or connect you to any other offices that you may be looking to get in touch with. Looks like one last question has come through, and it's another one for you. How should students go about adjusting accommodations if their initial accommodations did not include everything?
Yeah, if students are wanting to add any kind of additional accommodations, they can reach out to SAS, so just SAS at creighton.edu, or one of the staff members, and just let us know that they want to make adjustments to their accommodation plan. And we'll continue that interactive process with them. It might be through email. We may need more documentation. It may be a quick meeting to schedule. It just kind of depends on the request and what we have on file. Sometimes students start with a little and then when they want to add in more, and we have the documentation. So the best way is just to reach out to our office and get something set up and start that conversation.
Another question just came in, maybe one of the deans, Lisa, Sharice, or Dr. Cam. Are the minimum GPA requirements for the majors posted on the public website?
I would say in the catalog, and I'll put a link here in the chat. In the catalog, each college has a section for Hyder, Arts and Science, College of Nursing. My advice is to look in the university catalog at your college and your major requirements. The university catalog is our contract, and we must honor the contract, and we ask you to do that. So if there's any questions, go to the catalog. Even I have the catalog. Every day I look at the catalog. You want to know something? You got to go to the catalog to find out the answers.
Thank you. All right. Well, as we wrap up our Bluejay Family Live panel, I just want to thank our awesome panelists one more time for presenting to parents and families. Again, parents and families, audience members, if you don't know what to do, call 1212, our success desk, or email us at family@creighton.edu. Thank you so much for joining us. And if you have any questions, please feel free to contact us. And until then, go Blue Jays. Hope you have a great night. Thank you.